This was the moment, the button prompt that killed Call of Duty. This one moment has led to the state Call of Duty is in now. One button prompt turned otherwise good, promise and change in the Call of Duty series into a joke to this day. All of the innovation in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was ignored because of press F to pay respects. A few weeks ago, I made a video about Call of Duty World War II, COD's grand return to their World War II roots, which was a welcome change at that point in the series after all the futuristic games that came before. I talked about the joke that was COD Ghosts and how they were struggling to advertise and change and differentiate Ghosts from the Modern Warfare series that came before, and Ghosts was being a general flop. Then, just like when they changed from World War II shooters and jumped up to Modern Warfare with COD 4, when the Modern Warfare era got stagnant, they moved to Future Warfare. So Sledgehammer Games got the call up to make the next Call of Duty, and the fans were demanding innovation. So we were all brought kicking and screaming into the 2050s, into the ecto future of COD Advanced Warfare. If nothing else, Advanced Warfare definitely innovated, completely reinventing COD's standard movement system with the addition of the exosuit, which gave double jumps, power slides, air dashes, and stomps. This isn't just like a one mission gimmick like those wingsuits or invisibility cloaks for Black Ops 2. These are universal across all modes in the game. I guess I'm going to have to talk about all those modes. Shockingly enough, there's actually 4 modes instead of the standard 3 this time. First things first, I'm going to try and remember what I can about the multiplayer, because absolutely nobody's playing on Xbox One anymore, so I can't find any games. The wide shake-up to the series was carried on here, so Pick 10 changed to Pick 13, with score streaks now included in classes, and they can be modified if you're willing to earn more points for them, which is actually a cool, interesting change, which has never been done since for some reason. But with the futuristic setting, they're allowed to get creative with some of these weapons. There's your standard futuristic laser guns and rail guns. Then there's cool stuff like the gun that 3D prints more bullets as you use it, the sniper which shoots an explosive bullet if you shoot close enough, and the shotgun that just shoots bait. But the main issue, which I've been skirting around the whole time in multiplayer, is supply drops. This is probably the worst they ever were in COD, and maybe the most pay-to-win Call of Duty ever. Every gun has lots of different variants that have a range of different stats for its base, and some of the elite variants are just insane. I remember I just used this S12 variant basically all the time, and it was quite frankly broken. It's an automatic shotgun for increased rate of fire at the cost of reduced accuracy, so you could just spray it like a nutter. Then there was also all of the guns you had to unlock for getting a variant of it randomly in a supply drop. And with the supply drops being a massive pain in the ass to get, because you can basically only get them from daily challenges, you're basically forced to buy them. So with all of these variants and full guns hidden in supply drops, turns the multiplayer into a pay-to-win affair. Literally just buy a couple of supply drops to get a few elite variants, some new weapons, and you can just basically outgun anyone. So now in the campaign, where that infamous moment happens, and this is probably the most memed on and joked about moment in the whole COD series, which is a shame how important this moment is in the story. After all, it's right near the start of the game. Your best friend just died in the first mission and you're at his funeral, where, while paying your respects, you realise you lost your arm in the first mission. You also meet your mate's dad, Jonathan Irons, one of the biggest characters in the story. He is the founder and CEO of the Atlas Corporation, the world's leading private military company, and is played by Kevin Spacey, so I bet this man's a lovely character. At the funeral, he tempts you with a nice new arm and manipulates his son's death into a reason for you to join Atlas. And before you know it, you're in an Atlas training sim and getting a tour around the Atlas facility, and then he gives you this speech.
What you're seeing is advanced warfare. Atlas has the single largest standing military in the world, but we answer to no country. Unlike the government, we don't keep secrets of our capabilities. We don't sell policy, we sell power. We are a superpower for hire.
Then, before you know it, you're in your first Atlas mission, fighting against the KVA. A group led by this guy, Hades, who's set up to be the villain. But then, halfway through the story, you just kill him, and he tells you that Irons knew about most of his attacks before they happened. In shock horror, Irons turns out to be a bad guy. When they realise this, the good guys join Sentinel, a group set up to stop Atlas's rise to power. Then Irons declares war on the United Nations and blows up the Golden Gate Bridge, because people start to discover his plans to make a bomb that targets specific DNA, so it's basically just an ethnic cleansing bomb. Eventually, Sentinel really has enough, stops Atlas and kills Irons. The Exo movement system really livens up the campaign's gameplay. They give you 2 styles of Exo for certain level to keep it fresh. You have the Assault Exo, with your standard Exo movement, double jump that gives you a side descent, and the Specialist Exo, which has a time stone ability and an Exo shield. The levels are designed around having these abilities specifically, and verticality is used surprisingly well. When you've got the Assault Exo, you can focus on movement a lot more, and Specialist helps you be a better marksman and fight from range more. The Exo also lets you do random stuff like ripping off car doors to use as shields, and you just launch them at people, which I always found fun. With the futuristic setting, they got a bit more creative with the other gadgets you could use, like the threat grenade, which can tag any enemy where it explodes. And the campaign is just insanely broken. They will tag absolutely anything on the map and allow for easy bullet penetration, which just makes them so. The snapshot grenades and other copies that came later in the series never let you clear out a room without walking into it, and never came close to the fun that this gave you. The whole extra pay respects thing just became symbolic of a bigger issue in this game. That is, you have to do quick time events for just about everything. For no reason in the middle of cutscenes, they make you mash a button or spin a stick for absolutely no reason. They were still really popular around this time in an attempt to make games more cinematic, but as usual, they just annoyed everyone. Luckily, a good thing they added was the ability to upgrade your Exo. Completing challenges and reaching kill milestones reward you with upgrade points to spend between every mission. Considering all the creative stuff they did with this game, you'd hope extra upgrades would change up your playstyle a lot more. Something like adding new abilities and mixing and matching between different Exos, unlocking new grenades or something. But sadly, these upgrades are just really boring. It's all just like percentage increase of damage, fire rate, accuracy and stuff like that. They also added the Exo Survival game mode, which just shows that they are going to add the word Exo into absolutely everything into this game to make it try and sound more futuristic. Because this is almost literally just Modern Warfare 3 survival mode, but on Advanced Warfare maps with exosuits. Even to the point of having different tiered maps with different difficulties. This is probably because Sledgehammer, who developed Advanced Warfare, also co-developed Modern Warfare 3, but more on that later. Anyway, the last tier map, Riot. The map is set in an Atlas prison. And on the final round, Atlas releases the Manticore DNA bomb from the campaign. And instead of just killing the prisoners, it goes and turns them all into zombies. Which is of course our lead into the Exo Zombies game mode. And this was the first non-Treyarch COD zombie, so they had a lot to live up to. And unlike the Treyarch COD zombies, this actually has a cohesive story. Sort of, anyway. After the ending of Exo Survival, the Manticore bomb making a bunch of zombies, Atlas manages to contain it and cover it up, and brings back the zombies to some lab for research. And of course, as always, the zombies break out of containment and an outbreak starts. This gives us the first map. Outbreak presents the start of the story. Basically, the 4 main characters, which only one of them actually matters, will work in different parts of Atlas at the facility where the zombies are being held. and being the only survivors, they are forced to work together to survive until they're rescued by Atlas. After the second map, they're then rescued by Sentinel. Bruce Campbell turns up and kills John Malkovich, who is apparently the source of the infection. As it turns out, John Malkovich's character, Oz, would be a part of Sentinel, and was at the prison when the bomb originally went off. Then Atlas planted him at the facility where the zombies were being held, to start the outbreak good and proper. I guess Atlas has been taking lessons from the Umbrella Corporation and just releases bioweapons for fun now. Anyway, Oz turns into a zombie after he dies, but for some reason he keeps his intelligence and can still talk. So now he's the big boss of the zombies, and the rest of the group have to go and kill him. But as usual, the standard zombies experience is quite fun. Instead of revolving around turning on the power to really get everything on the map going, you need to get the exosuits at the other end of the map to give you perks and the exo movement, which is, once again, unsurprisingly, the biggest change from the traditional zombies mode. To counter this, they also gave the zombies exo movement, and added electric zombies that EMP your exo temporarily, and a few other different types of zombies that appear in your normal rounds. For some reason they redesigned all the power-ups to fit the Advanced Warfare style, like insta-kill, hyper damage, double points, multiplier, and the nuke turns into the DNA bomb, which just makes everything sound nerdier really. They also added new power-ups like security, which turns on every trap on the map for free, and explosive touch, which basically just makes you unkillable while you're active. The special rounds that they give you aren't exactly consistent. They've taken away the iconic hellhounds from Treyarch zombies, and instead given us these pathetic zombie dogs, which are really shit at actually hitting you. Luckily, they also added another special type zombie round, with the host zombie rounds. If you get hit by these special zombies, which you will, because these guys are always at max speed, your life is now on a timer and you need to sprint to the map's decontamination zone, or else you get infected and die. With every hit after this, they can time off the infection and put you closer to death. I actually really like these rounds because they can really make you panic and force you into some tough situation, and out of your normal spots you normally like to stay in the training camp. Exo Zombies actually had a few innovations that were taken by Treyarch later, found their way into the Black Ops series. Like Exo Zombies was the first game to give you 3 hits to death, Juggernog, rather than 2, and it hasn't gone back since. They also introduced kill streaks into the game with random care package drops, giving you random streaks every now and then. This was later refined and made much better in Cold War, with the salvage and loot systems. Exo Zombies replaced the normal pack-a-punch with the weapon upgrade system, which can upgrade your gun 20 times or 25 times if you finish the Easter egg. And unless you want to count Black Ops 2 letting you pay 2,000 points to repack your gun to change its optic, this was the first time you could upgrade your gun more than once. But said that nobody ever brought back the grenade disposal machine though. So in the end, Advanced Warfare tried lots of new and different stuff for the Call of Duty series, and had to do a lot as the first COD set in the future, with actual futuristic gameplay, unlike Black Ops 2. It had to follow up on Ghosts after it completely deflated all of the series momentum. Real innovation after the awful attempt that they made. It did a lot right by changing up Call of Duty and having the first non-Treyarch Zombies mode. And this was all in Sledgehammer's first COD game. But ultimately, because of the sheer mess that the multiplayer was with the supply drops, leading to some truly awful balance, Advanced Warfare isn't remembered fondly. Despite its good reviews, Advanced Warfare sold even less than Ghosts, and left a bad start to COD's futuristic era, which was one of the most hated by series fans. Remember earlier when I mentioned that Sledgehammer co-developed Modern Warfare 3? Of course, before they were pulled into help with MW3, they were working on their own Call of Duty. Surprisingly, this wasn't Advanced Warfare, but one with its own style of innovation. This game was called Call of Duty Fog of War, and you may struggle to find out any information about it. Probably because there's a mission in Modern Warfare called Fog of War, and so that now dominates the search results. The original Fog of War was set to be a third-person action-adventure game set in the Vietnam War. The only article I could find in this game was a really short one by IGN, where they asked a former Sledgehammer employee who said they wanted to create an Uncharted-inspired Call of Duty by using everything they learned from their experience with Dead Space. They even went as far as developing a 15-minute gameplay demo, which has never been publicly shown and now probably never will. It's been 10 years since we last heard anything about the game, and it was basically just saying how the game had been cancelled so that Sledgehammer could help with Modern Warfare 3, and then a few years later Advanced Warfare pops up. Still an FPS, none of the adventure or horror elements that had been promised for Fog of War. So the Call of Duty boss at Activision dragged Sledgehammer away from its unique, innovative Call of Duty to help work on Modern Warfare 3, which was just another entry into an existing series. This meant that when they had to retool to working back on their own game, rather than MW3, they would have had a lot less time to work on it and develop their own ideas. And you have to assume that it was Activision's idea for the move to futuristic combat, because Sledgehammer clearly wanted to make an old school COD in a new style. So Activision basically got Sledgehammer to make the most hated Call of Duty in the series. They ruined Sledgehammer's chances to make a positive impact with their first Call of Duty before it even came out. And I'm sure we don't need to talk about the push towards loot boxes. Call of Duty started in this game. Activision pushed loot boxes further in Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, and Sledgehammer's next game, World War II. Activision forced the downfall of Call of Duty out of their sheer incompetence, and mismanagement led us to miss out on a completely new Call of Duty experience.